Logan. Yeah. So I lost sound there. Seems to be coming through now. So don't know why that happened, and I'll keep my eye on it, make sure it doesn't happen again, because definitely rambled on there for some time before I noticed. But that's okay, I guess. So just gonna wait actually a second. I know one of my players for tomorrow night was watching this, and actually he's gonna jump on and just kind of ask me some questions that a player might want to know, kind of cover those bases. And he was on before, but obviously I had to cancel that bit. I think we just probably got him back. So yeah, where I left off was talking about the Malaysian Highlands, and I started to describe something that sounds a lot like probably a Scottish stereotype. And to some degree, I feel like there's there are some inevitabilities. People living in the Highlands live a tough life, but that's, I guess those sort of things are unavoidable. But there isn't. I'm going to try to avoid very specific subculture references in that regard, and try to let the players kind of design a subculture of their own, just with those kind of loose parameters. And then I'll just start to make NPCs, sorry, kind of play in that mix, which I look forward to. That's kind of the whole thing, right? That's what we all have fun doing. And then the last group I needed to talk about was Favoria on the coast, being something kind of like a Dubliner, sort of a port city, or a couple of port cities, starting out as like fishing villages nestled in safe harbors, but eventually turning into port cities. They would perhaps start as fishermen, but eventually grow into more tradesmen, and that would open them up to more cultures. So they would be, the most worldly of these Bresian people, which I think kind of will extend beyond just what we think of in the regular world as being worldly or cosmopolitan, and picking up on new cultures, because magically there's certain types of magic in this setting, which is what I'm going to go into next. And each region, of course, has their original foray into magic, where they started, what their original paradigm is. And a lot of that will probably have to do with what sort of upper level beings you either worship or serve or revere or give homage to. In the case of Bresia, like I mentioned, this is primarily the Tuatha Danann. Tuatha Danann are upper level Fae. Upper level Fae are below demigods, which they would speak to the races, the cultures that follow them. They would speak to them about, and they would also speak of the highest. You'd have to call her a god. She's more of an aspect of reality, sort of just a upper level notion of a god. She represents nature, and nature in this setting is most bluntly characterized as paradoxical. It's the idea that you need death for life, the idea that you need darkness to recognize light. That's what nature in the setting is all about. But magically, these things, I mean, again, I'm going primarily by the player's handbook. I might work in some homebrew rules as time goes on, but that's kind of what these sessions are for, to figure out what things narratively fit and can be hard-coded as rules, and which should just kind of be things that I'm okay with letting my players do to fit the setting. I think understanding the magic is sort of a part of that. So for this setting, I rationalize magic as being external and internal because of the classes that I allow. Again, player's handbook, but also a lot of the supplements and even some third-party stuff I might bring into my own as my own personal setting classes or subclasses. So external and internal. External is pretty simple. External is arcane. It's the magic that's in the air, the magic that's in everything that you can access if you're a magic wielder through various different means in order to utilize to do the tasks that you'd like magic to do for you. But it does come in a couple different flavors, and the way I would ask players to picture that is if Arcana, the arcane, is the water, these filters are these these different varieties of it are basically the filters that you pass the water through. So there's radiant, entropic, nature. Those all kind of give that arcane a different flavor. And it has to do basically with what what medium you're receiving it through. We'll get to that in a second. Um, and then there's